You got two for the price of one today because we've got Bee the Beagle snoring in the corner. And today takes us to New York. We're on the road to nowhere. Come on inside. Taking that ride to nowhere. We'll take that ride. I'm feeling okay this morning, and you know we're on the road to paradise. Here we go, here we go. Well, I thought I'd left America in 1988, and indeed I had. I'd working in Britain again, but in 1990, in the middle of 1990, I received some information from a headhunter who was headhunting me for the possible headship of the Pratt Institute of New York City, the Pratt Institute Art School, which is one of the most prestigious art schools in America. And it was a bit strange because I was divorced. I seen my daughter, who was then about 10, in England every week, and I didn't really want to go back to America. And I'd also, on rebound, married an American, and that hadn't worked, and she'd gone back to New York. So the whole thing was rather strange. Nevertheless, I did decide to go because they paid for me to fly across the Atlantic, and they had 9 candidates at the first round of interviews. And anyway, I got through to the final round of 2 candidates, and that's where we take up the story. Vaughan, when you were last here, you explained about 2 deputies you have, both of whom are constantly looking for prerequisites. I just love that story. Could you tell it again for those of us who were not here last time? Oh yes, as you may remember, they both had applied for the job I now have, Wolverhampton. Since I arrived, one badgered me constantly for a professorship, the other for a professorship one week and a designated parking space the next. So I told that guy that although neither is in my gift, at this polytechnic, although it is difficult to get a professorship, it is almost impossible to get a dedicated parking space. It was my greatest academic honour to have one. Ah, I just love that. Don't you just love that? He glances round the table, smiles all round, but some are forced. Oh dear, the forced ones are not from the trustees, they are from the academics, the professors. A woman trustee weighs in. Vaughan, I think your work is great. I loved your presentation last time. Those murals, side of the Kennedy assassination. And the other, the British Museum one, well, how did that play with those liberal arts students? Those students they take at Massachusetts are pretty bright. Oh yeah, they are. They about the highest SAT scores in America for entry. I don't know, I suppose my work touched several bases for them because of the content. You know, some of them are political science majors and so on, economics majors, so my work isn't just about art things, as you know. I guess not. Maybe I should have been an historian or something instead of an artist. Well, I for one am pleased you're not. I get kind of sick of this shallow, blown up bullshit over here. We now have graffiti art, you know. The chair interrupts. Sally, I think that's a great point. But may I bring in Beatrice? Beatrice, I know you want to explore another perspective with Vaughan. Yeah, Vaughan, your resume says you are now married to a New Yorker who lives in the city, but you have a young daughter in England. If we hire you, would this work out for you and equally importantly for them? Yes, I would hope so. You would hope so? You would not be conflicted. Your head would not be in 2 places at once. Where is this woman going? I must be looking puzzled. Will they see I'm now sweating? Let me put it this way, Vaughan. and correct me if I'm out of line, out of tune, you know. It seems to me that your work and can-do way is very American. I like that. But are you yourself emotionally rooted in England? I don't understand. Actually, I do understand. Okay, in a nutshell, your art in America, your heart in England. Beatrice is smart. Too smart. Oh, why do you say that? Maybe because I'm a psychiatrist, amongst other things. Maybe that. The chair intervenes. Beatrice, just maybe we're getting a little too personal. He now puts his own spin on it. You see, Vaughan, working here at Pratt, we don't see justice as a job. We see ourselves as a family, which you may join. He's thrown me a lifeline, but my brain is racing. Of course, that meeting with the Dean of the Faculty of Massachusetts, when I handed in my resignation letter, we had agreed any reference should just say I resigned to return to the UK so I could see my younger daughter regularly following my divorce. But I've since married a New Yorker, on the rebound for sure. So, why have they invited me, a flaky, confused candidate, as one of only 2 finalists for the key job of running their art school? Unless they didn't have that reference when they selected the 2 finalists. That has to be it. You'll have to answer. Look at them looking at you intensely. Well, I would very much like to join you at the Pratt Institute, a distinguished school, but please rest assured I can work these personal matters out. Okay. I'm sure you can, Vaughan. Are there any more questions for Vaughan? I know you were both at Vaughan's presentation last week, and you discussed a bunch of stuff there. Well, Vaughan, if you have any questions yourself, you can take those up with the president head here, who will now be taking you for lunch. So we all have to do now is thank you so much for attending and crisscrossing the Atlantic, even in Concorde. We really appreciate that. The River Cafe, Water Street, Brooklyn, New York. You like seafood, Vaughan? They do a good seafood platter down here. The driver pulls the president's Mercedes into the restaurant parking lot right by the Brooklyn Bridge. I do, Ted. Great, Vaughan, let's eat and talk. Outside, the car now and the thunder of traffic on the bridge deck above makes further conversation impossible. It's not far to the restaurant door. How do I play this? Am I in too deep? Enjoy the Chardonnay, Vaughan? No, I won't. I'll take a Perrier water. Ted waves the waiter away. So, Vaughan, I trust you are satisfied with our interview process. Oh, very much so, Ted. Is there anything you would like, you'd appreciate? Any one thing? Oh yes, I think being deeply interested in my work as an artist, I'm afraid, at this level of appointment, that is something I'm afraid that's often ignored in the UK nowadays anyway. Really? Why so? Well, there's a sort of cult of managerialism brought in under Mrs. Thatcher. A new breed of business managers seem to have emerged in England. They can be hired to run anything. It happened when I was here in America. Oh, well, we hear good things about Margaret Thatcher over here. The other side of the coin, I guess. Anyway, you had some business experience yourself in Nottingham. That is true. But it wasn't until 10 years later that part of my history became of interest, and fashionable indeed, in English higher education. I see, Vaughan. Now, talking of business, would you mind if I go to, I guess, the bottom line? I put down my glass. Vaughan, what sort of remuneration would you be looking at for? Just give me a straight up figure. This is it. Do you want to be here or not? I give him a figure. An outrageous one. Ted leans back, his face impassive. Okay. So let's take a peek at those menus. As I said, their fish is very good.